Hi there, I'm Kristen, Doctor of Physical Therapy at Into the Light Healing and Bodywork. This therapeutic exercise flow is designed for a patient who is having a lot of tension in her neck and in her low back. So this practice is designed to reduce that and kind of floss the dura, the connective tissue that surrounds the spinal cord and the brain. Floss it up and down. So this is going to be a low to the ground technique. However, if you would like to sit in a chair or on a therapy ball instead, that is absolutely okay. All right, if you're ready, we'll get started. Okay, let's begin laying on our backs. And legs can either be out long here or bent up if that's more comfortable for you. And we're going to start with a smallish motion of the neck. So what it's going to be is a lengthening of the back of the head away from the body as you tilt the chin towards the throat. So we're not lifting the head up off of the floor here, and we're not pushing it into the floor either. It's just a relaxed stretch of those muscles of the back of the neck. And you can even add another piece to this. So you can add your breath, breathing out as you lengthen the head away from the body and breathing in as you return to neutral. Try to keep the shoulders and the upper body relaxed and just lengthen and release. Kind of feels like we're making a double chin here. Very attractive. Flowing with the breath. And this is nice to kind of feel along your spine here. If there's any areas through the spine that tend to get kind of tight, see if you notice them as you do this exercise. See if you notice where they're at. And if you are able to kind of stretch them out just by doing this exercise, this small movement. Okay, next we're going to bend up the knees, bringing the heels in line with the sits bones, maybe a foot, however close you can get them, and then we're going to do some posterior pelvic tilts. So that is rocking the tailbone. So we're going to rock the tailbone, the sacrum, and the sacrum back so that the low back is coming into contact with the floor or close to it. And then on the inhale, we release. Exhaling, tightening the abdominal muscles, scooping that low belly in and up. Low ribs are knitting together. Inhaling, releasing. Continuing to flow with the breath, first engaging those abdominal muscles, and we're scooping so that tailbone actually points kind of like up towards the ceiling almost if you can get a really big contraction. And it's okay if you can't. We're not interested in recruiting extra muscles here. So if you notice your butt muscles or your hamstrings are firing to turn on, please back off how much you're doing. And the same goes as well for your neck. So if you notice you're starting to lift your head up and those are engaging, you want to back off a little bit because you're doing too much. So working on those pelvic tilts here, lengthening the tailbone away from the body, kind of scooping it under and up, pointing up towards the ceiling. Low back goes flat towards the floor. And after we get maybe a few more of these in, flowing with the breath, gauging the abdominals, not letting those hamstrings or butt muscles turn on to help. We're going to start kind of bouncing back and forth. So we're going to floss the spine from either end by doing those two exercises we just learned. So first, lengthening the back of the head away from the body as you exhale. Trying to keep that going in a straight line. I don't know if you notice sometimes the head might wobble side to side. Just try to keep it controlled. Inhaling, relaxing, and then exhaling. We're going to do the pelvis, tucking that tailbone under, Low back flattens towards the floor. Abdominals engaged. Inhale, releasing. And then exhale, we're going to tuck the chin. Inhale, release. Exhale, tuck the pelvis. See if you can get to a point where this is an enjoyable exercise. It feels really nice to just stretch at ease. All right, last one for the pelvis here. And then we're going to add a bridge. So something we're going to add to the bridge is strengthening for the neck muscles. We're going to press the back of the head straight back into the floor. So that looks like this. Make sure nose is pointing up at the ceiling. And then press the head straight back, maybe about 50% contraction. So you're not lifting your chest off of the floor with your head. It's just enough to engage those muscles. Keep them engaged as you lift your pelvis up and lower back down. So this is kind of starting level with this one. Notice how smooth and controlled you can do this movement. You might notice with me, my knees wobble side to side a little bit, and that is really just a sign of weakness and instability. So if you're doing that too, you're in good company. But really it just means that we need to continue to do this practice so that we regain that neuromuscular control. Continue pressing the head into the floor, lifting the pelvis, and lowering back down. There's a couple of ways you can lift the pelvis, doing all of it at once with a nice tight core, keeping your back straight, or you can do one vertebrae at a time, kind of rolling it up. I don't recommend this for every diagnosis, but the flat back is safe to do for everybody. And you can even add a hold here if you'd like. Ready for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, lower down. Then we're going to come onto all fours. So keep those belly muscles engaged as you roll onto your side and then push up into all fours. And once we are here, you can either have your hands palms flat down, or you can do fists. Keep a nice neutral wrist. So that's really helpful if you have some other things that are going on with your wrists and they're not very happy. All right, we're going to tuck toes underneath here. Shoulder blades pull down the back. Elongate the spine and retract the head. So kind of how we were pushing the head into the mat a few moments ago with that bridge exercise. We're just going to push the head back towards the ceiling here. And this can be an exercise of itself. But I'm going to challenge you more. So, with those toes tucked under, the neck retracted, head back, shoulder blades pulling down the back, and low ribs engaged, we're going to press up into the hands and the toes so that the knees lift just a little bit off the mat, maybe an inch or two. Keep that spine nice and long, tailbone and head reaching in opposite directions for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Lower down. You can flip your feet so that the tops of your feet are on the floor. And then again, coming into whatever hand position is comfortable for you. We're going to do next a little spinal movement here. This one's really nice to do first thing in the morning if you're able to. So we're still going to be pulling those shoulder blades down the back as we Exhale, tuck the tailbone down. This time it's pointing towards the floor. That creates this posterior rotation of the sacrum. And we're going to keep that rotation going as we curve the spine all the way up through the thoracic spine and let the head relax down. Then as we inhale, the tailbone's going to point out behind. The belly comes low, but keep it engaged. Shoulder blades stay down the back as we lift the head. Here we can keep a neutral spine, like going nice and long away from the body. Or if it feels nice for you, retract the head, slide the head up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, lifting the low back towards the ceiling, pressing out through the shoulders, letting the head relax. Inhaling, reversing the motion. Getting a nice flow going with the breath here. If you have like a spondylolysis or spondylolisthesis or a stenosis anywhere in your spine, this is probably a good one to skip. Or you can do like a neutral and flexion. So a neutral spine, you can flex here, and then neutral spine. That's just if you have a spondylosis, or stenosis anywhere along the spine. Basic rule of thumb is to not cause yourself to hurt. If your body is hurting, that's a message to you. Inhaling, sticking the tailbone back, belly down, chest lifts, head nice and long. Exhale, tucking the tailbone under, pushing the low back towards the ceiling, relaxing the neck. Trying to keep those knees underneath the hips and wrists underneath the shoulders or a little bit forward. Pushing into the fingertips. And then we'll come back to neutral. Retract the head, and then we're going to cross the ankles or shins and then bring the seat back, coming to a sitting position. And here is a great time to find your exercise ball or a chair if you prefer to use one of those. All right. Next we're going to do a little arm flow while we are in the seated posture, but the most important thing is that we keep that scooped in and up on the belly. So belly button goes in and up, low ribs knit together. The chest is lifted here, lifted and open. We're going to have our hands together. And then as we inhale, we're going to bring the arms up. And as we exhale, they're going to go down, 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 either side of the body. And then come back together in the center. Inhaling up. And then out. Continue to flow with your breath, with your retracted head, with your long spine, with your chest lifted. Low ribs knit together. Both sit bones on the floor or chair or ball. And then we're going to keep our hands on our knees. And we're going to do a little abdominal twist here. So as we breathe in, we'll bring the belly forward and then rotate clockwise. So bring the weight over towards the right knee, tuck the tailbone under and round the low back as the weight comes back. Shift to the left and then forward towards the left knee as the tailbone sits back or scoops back. And if it helps, maybe even thinking about having a visual of drawing a little circle with your tailbone on the floor. We're just shifting the weight, rotating the torso, making sure we stay in a comfortable range. We want to keep that belly button scooped in and up, supporting the spine. And then we're going to pause the next time we come forward. And then as we exhale, we're going to go in the opposite direction, counterclockwise this time, making a few rotations to balance out. And you might notice that one side feels a little bit different than the other, or one direction, and that's totally normal. Just depends on how you use your body and what things you ask your body to do every day. Let's do one more. And there's always an invitation to pause in a spot that feels tight or tense, just to see if you can work that out. Okay, last we're going to come into a twist, seated twist. So we're going to bring right hand to left knee, left hand behind, lengthen up through that spine again, maybe even pulling the pelvic floor muscles up, up, up. Belly button goes in and up, low ribs knit together as we twist using those abdominal muscles to the left. We're not yanking or grabbing here, so you could let go with your right hand at any time and not really have a change in your position. Retract the head, tuck the chin towards the throat, lengthening the back of the head away from the body. And then with one last exhale, maybe twisting just a little bit more. And then inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, left hand to right knee, right hand behind, scooping the pelvic floor muscles and belly in and up, letting the abdominals rotate the spine while keeping length going through the spine, chest lifting. Remembering not to grab or pull on the knee here. Position should remain the same if you let go. And then with the last exhale, maybe just getting a little further twist. And coming back to neutral. Feel free to take a moment here to perform any last exercises that your body needs before we close for the day. Any extra stretches or twists. Maybe even calling to mind 3 things that you are thankful for, 3 blessings in your life. And notice how your body feels when you think about these things. Until next time, the light and spirit in me honors and appreciates the light and spirit in you. Let peace be with you.